Welcome to Application Compatibility. When you upgrade to Windows 7, one very important aspect of upgrading is to ensure that the software you are using works with Windows 7. Microsoft has gone to a lot of effort to allow Windows 7 to run applications that were not originally designed for Windows 7. Before I go into how to make old software work on Windows 7, first I will look at what can potentially cause problems to applications running under Windows 7. In the old days, Windows and MS-DOS applications could write to any part of the system they wanted to. They could even write over system files that were essential for the computer to work correctly. The operating systems back then were not designed to be multi-user. If you made a change to a file, often even when operating systems started supporting more than one user, a change made by one user would affect all users. Also, when you installed new software, there were problems with incompatible system files. Installers would often update system files. The problem was that another piece of software would need a particular version of a system file and would stop working when the system file was updated. To fix problems like this, Windows Vista introduced Windows Resource Protection. This protects system files by ensuring that they are only updated by a trusted installer. This stops an application from updating a system file and thus potentially breaking something else in the process. Windows Resource Protection also protects the registry. This stops a program from updating parts of the registry that it should not. In most cases, this will be HKey Local Machine. HKey Local Machine contains system settings for the computer. This includes device driver settings and hardware settings. Besides the damage that could be done by updating the wrong keys, HKey Local Machine affects all users on the system. So, with Windows Vista, Windows Server 2008, and Windows 7, Windows Resource Protection prevents access to these areas, which protects your system but also stops your old applications from working correctly. Microsoft has thought about this and has implemented another system that not only protects your files, but provides backward compatibility. Windows provides a virtual registry and file area for system files and the registry. When applications attempt to read or write to these areas, they are redirected to another area. If I open a command prompt, I will be opened to my user profile directory, in this case, admin. If I now perform a dir with the /a switch, this will show files that would normally be hidden. You can see a number of directories called junctions. In this case, these directories do not physically exist anymore and have been moved. To make Windows 7 compatible with older software which may look for these directories, when software tries to access, say, the templates directory, the software is silently and transparently redirected to the templates directory located in the app data directory. This allows old software to run without modification. This works well for directories that have undergone a name change but can still be written to, but does not help for other directories that are now read-only. For example, the Windows or Program Files directory. If I go into the app data directory and then the local directory and finally the virtual store directory, this is where Windows redirects writes from old applications when they try to write to system areas. If I list the contents of this directory, you can see a Windows directory and a Programs directory. These are areas of Windows 7 that are now read-only, but in older operating systems, programs could write to. If I go into the Programs directory and list the contents, you can see a number of programs have stored data in here. On this computer, I have a program called PDF Converter. If I go into this directory, you can see that there is a file called Options. The software at one stage attempted to save this file to the Program Files directory and was redirected here. This presents two problems. First, if the software were allowed to write to the Program Files directory, it could potentially damage software on the computer. The second problem is that a change like this would affect all users on the system. By having an option file like this created in each user profile on the system means each user of that software can configure the software any way they want. The original software does not have to be modified or upgraded to work effectively in Windows 7 and with multiple users. The same applies to the registry. If I close the command prompt and open the registry editor, I can see all the 5 hives that make up the registry. The HKey local machine I talked about earlier is read-only in Windows 7 to most programs. It was writable in earlier versions of Windows and thus experienced the same problems as the system files. If I open the HKey users hive and then open a user, you can see that if I navigate down to Software and then Classes and finally Virtual Store, I can see a folder called Machine, which contains all the data from software that attempted to write to HKey local machine. Under here, you can see that some software from NVIDIA attempted to write to HKey local machines and was redirected here. Redirecting registry writes here has the same effect as before with the file redirects. Old software is allowed to work and will also work in a multi-user environment. Virtual file and registry software in Windows will hopefully solve your software compatibility problems without you having to do anything. However, when dealing with old software, you may have to make some more changes to ensure it works with Windows 7. On my Windows 7 computer, I have downloaded an application called 2020, which is used to perform screen captures. I will quickly install this application on Windows 7, since this is not the focus of this video. Once installed, when I run the application, I will get an error saying the application stopped working. Windows will automatically check to see if there has already been a solution found for the problem. Sometimes Microsoft will recommend an update to Windows or a vendor update to fix the problem. In this case, no solution could be found. To get software like this to work, go to the executable or shortcut for the application and open the properties for it. In the File Properties, select the Compatibility tab. The first option allows you to configure which operating system the application will detect running. The list is quite long, everything from Windows 95 to Windows Vista. If you have an application that is hard-coded to only run on a certain operating system, this may allow the program to run. If the problem is not the running or the installing of the software, you may need to set some of the other options. First, you can limit the colors to 256 if you are having display problems, and also limit the resolution to 640 by 480. This may be required with very old software. The option Disable Visual Themes will disable the new visual themes found in Windows 7. If you have problems with the title bars and windows not displaying correctly, this may fix the problem. When you disable Desktop Composition, this effectively disables the Aerial interface. You will find that while this software is running, Aerial will stop. Once the program has exited, Aerial will start running again. Disabling display scaling on high DPI disables font scaling for this application. Some people adjust the size of the font in Windows to make it easier to read. You may find that some programs will start having problems displaying adjusted fonts. For example, the text may be cut off as the programs do not scale their windows according to the large font size. Selecting this option will ensure fonts for this application are shown at the default size and are not scaled. The last option will run the application as an administrator. You will find that even software designed for Windows XP, which was designed for multi-user, may need to write to parts of the hard disk that they are not supposed to. Hopefully, the virtual file and registry will solve this kind of problem. Selecting this option will give the application more rights, but of course, this is a bad practice. Having said this, selecting this option may get your legacy application to run. I would, however, only tick this option as a last resort. Finally, make sure you take note of the option Show Settings for All Users. The settings that I am currently editing only apply to the current user. If you want to change the settings for all users that use this computer, select this option and another set of options will appear. If I now exit out, leaving the option selected Run in Windows XP mode, 2020 will now run correctly. I have found with some old applications, you sometimes only need to run them once with administrator rights. Once you run them once and they have performed their initial startup, they work correctly after that. Whenever possible, it is best to upgrade the software to a Windows 7 version if one is available. In the next video, I will look at a more powerful tool called the Application Compatibility Toolkit. This is a collection of tools designed to improve software compatibility in Windows 7 when you are supporting an enterprise network.